And it's November 20th, 2023. It's time to call the Franklin City Council meeting to order. Ms. Rhodes, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Austin?
Here.
Mr. Dugan?
Here.
Ms. McGinnis?
Here.
Ms. Nally?
Here.
Ms. Price?
Here.
Mr. Prime?
Here.
And Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Sir, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we now have Mr. Brian Reese with the prayer and pledge? And Brian, I
Absolutely.
want to tell you, we really appreciate you coming here to do that.
Really.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Yeah, appreciate it. Invite you to join me. Our Father, we come to you this evening grateful and thankful for the opportunity to be here in this place again tonight. I pray that you would be with our nation, be with our armed forces as they serve and protect. Thank you for all of our first responders that serve us here locally and protect us here. Thank you for all their sacrifice and giving to keep us safe. Pray that you be with all the items on the agenda tonight. Just matters of fiscal concern. I pray that you give wisdom and discernment for wise decisions to be made. And tonight I lift up our Mayor's Youth Council. I pray that you continue to develop them and shape and mold them into future leaders here in our city. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Is there any announcements or public comments that is not on the agenda that anyone would want to bring up? Hearing none, we will go on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda for the meeting, City Council meeting November 6th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Move to read old business by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to read old business by title only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sorry about that, Mayor.
Okay, item number 1, approval of ordinance 2023-14, street and utility right-of-way ordinance. And this is going to be a public hearing, and Joanna Tinnell is here to explain it.
Good evening. Before you last meeting was the introduction of the street and utility right-of-way ordinance. As discussed at that meeting, we are requesting that the previous ordinance be repealed in its entirety and replaced with this current ordinance. The items that were updated were all listed in red. Many of them were regarding utilities and attachment to aerial facilities, also requiring that they provide approval from the entity in which owns the poles. Also included in it is requirements for as-built once those things are installed. And then there are requirements outlined for utility cuts in the brick pavers since we have had the update of Yandy Street. We wanted to make sure that there were some standards that addressed that street appropriately, so those are all included. And then one of the other big sections was actually going through and identifying what would be considered cable pollution and providing a violation and penalty section in regard to not only cable pollution violations, but in general violations of any of the requirements of the ordinance. We did separate them out into different penalties, just because they are a little bit different in nature, but it is ready for public hearing.
Okay, so at this time, I'll open it up for public hearing. If anybody has any questions or want to make any comments, now's the time. So, don't see anybody jumping up. I'll close the public hearing. So, any more questions from the council for Joanna? If not, I think we're ready.
Move to approve ordinance 2023-14.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone not in favor? Okay, we'll go on to the next item. Approval of budgetary ordinance 2023-16 to appropriate the community crossings grant money in the amount of $741,879.66 for the city's portion. Clerk Treasurer Jane Rhodes.
For the 99th time, you will give me approval to appropriate this amount of money. We can start paying
Okay, and this one is also for public hearing, so is there any questions from the public on what this is about? It's the Community Crossings Grant. We match this, and we've already had the paving done, and we're starting to get the bills, so I think the clerk treasurer's office is wanting to pay, so. We're ready for the action on this one as well.
Move to approve budgetary ordinance 2023-16.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, we will go on to the next one. Approval of ordinance 2023-12, authorizing advance payment of certain expenses. City Attorney Lynn Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. As I indicated last time when this was introduced, there were recent changes to the law that allow a local entity to advance pay for certain types of things. This really started to occur when we started having supply chain issues several years ago. Previously, vendors were willing to carry the freight of advance paying for items for 30 days, but when the lag time became 6, 9, 10 months to get supplies, many of our vendors said if they wanted to enter into a contract, they would at least ask us to pay for the supplies that they were ordering and not having to carry that for months on end. The legislature recognized that was happening, so they've authorized now local government entities to make advance payments under certain restrictions. I developed this ordinance in compliance with that law. That is, so if one of our department heads comes and they ask for advance payment, we got to make sure these things are in the contract, but we could go ahead and pay for the materials. We can't pay for the work, but we can pay for the materials in advance. That's the nature of this, and I think you'll find most local entities are going to adopt an ordinance similar to this.
And this one is also for public hearing, if anyone has any questions. It's open for public hearing now. And it is, are you getting up to ask a question? Oh, I thought you were. Okay, so we'll close the public hearing. No one's getting up, so this one is also ready for action.
Move to approve ordinance 2023-13.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Approval of ordinance 2023-13, an ordinance of the City of Franklin providing for clothing and equipment allowance and repealing and replacing ordinance number 19-03 and ordinance number 11-09 relative to the same. City Attorney Lynn Gray.
Thank you. As I indicated last time, you did adopt the council agenda, or I'm sorry, the budget for the city, and built into that budget was a clothing allowance of the amount of $1,000. However, our previous ordinance only allowed for an $800 clothing allowance. So after you pass the budget, it's necessary for us to then bring an ordinance in that tracks what you approved in the budget, in the budget itself. So this simply takes the same ordinance we had before and changes it from $800 to $1,000 to be paid.
And I think that $800 we established at the last meeting has been for many, many years.
Correct.
I think we have exactly how many years, but it's been a long time. So this one's also opened up, as we're opening it up for a public hearing at this time. So if there's anyone with any questions, feel free.
The last time we amended it for the process for the clerk treasurer to approve the request, but we hadn't changed the amount for a long time. And I know many of our employees' required work clothes, boots particularly, have just gone really, really through the roof. So the $1,000 is probably more attuned to what they're required to pay.
Okay, so we're opening it up for public hearing. I may have already did that, but anybody have anything to say? Nope, so we'll close the public hearing, and we're now ready for action on this one.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-13.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move to
Okay.
read new business by title only. Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to read new business by title only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item number one, introduction of budgetary ordinance 23-17 to amend council budgetary ordinance 23-07, fixing and authorizing the payment of certain salaries of appointed officers and employees for the year 2024 Civil City to replace project manager line item with assistant engineer Joanna Tennell.
Good evening. We did present the Assistant City Engineer job description at Board of Works prior to this meeting. They have approved that job description. There is a slight difference between that position and the project manager's position. Previously, the project manager's position was intended for somebody who was straight out of college and needed to have some years under an engineer, did not have a requirement to maintain a PE license. This job description does require that. They have a PE license within 6 months of date of hire. The request before you is to amend the salary ordinance of 2024 to remove the line item of project manager, which was at $62,500, and revise that to assistant engineer for $90,000. Some of the information that I wanted to present to you is the job description also allows some training for the assistant as they, become more versed in being an engineer with the city. A lot of engineers are in the private sector, and what engineers do in the private sector is substantially different than what we do in the city. So that allows some time to, get an understanding of what we do as a city. The project manager position has actually remained unfilled for the last 3 years, resulting in a savings of the budget of approximately $180,000 in wages, plus an additional savings of approximately $120,000 in benefit costs. So there are a lot of projects that require oversight by the city engineer, and these have increased significantly over the past few years, resulting in the need for us to actually use our own call contracts to manage design and inspection of projects more than what we have in the past. Many of those annual projects, such as the alley reconstruction, mill and overlay of streets, have continued to be managed by planning and engineering. But occasionally we do have a one-off project like the Krause Street parking lot that needed to be designed, the community park improvements that needed to be designed, also Brookhaven passing blister and construction. We have actually used our own call contracts for those sort of projects. This assistant city engineer position would allow us to be able to handle some of those smaller projects in-house and therefore reduce our own call need. So we do also still require some coordination between the city and the consultants and the contractors. Citywide projects from 2022 and 2023 have averaged about 35 to 40 projects in each year, with the city engineer being involved in 32 to 35 of those projects. So this will allow the assistant city engineer to reduce that, strain on the city engineer, because he does get pulled in a lot of directions. Also, the current job environment for attracting licensed engineers is very competitive, with many of the public service engineers moving to the private industry, especially in consulting. Information that Mark Richards did pull from the Gateway website of 2022 salaries throughout the state of Indiana for positions similar to city engineer, assistant city engineer, or county highway engineers shows that the average salary is about $100,600. We are requesting that the $90,000 be the modification that's made for this salary ordinance. And also to include that the City of Franklin's engineer position was not taken into account for that average. For the 2024 salary, the Franklin City engineer is approximately $101,500. And according to the information sampled from Gateway, salaries are expected to increase about 4.5% over a 2-year period. So with the project manager's position, which was budgeted for $62,500, and the request to be increased to $90,000. That difference is $27,500. This will allow the city to be competitive in attracting a qualified candidate. It's also common for engineers to move from public service positions to private industry, mainly due to the higher salaries available in private positions such as consulting. It is less common for engineers to make the move to the public sector, thus we need to seriously review the compensation level offered. Through the end of September 2023, which isn't even the full year, we have currently paid out approximately $47,000 in engineering on-call fees for the projects that, with this position, we would be able to handle in-house, which would, compensate for that additional increase from the $62,500 to the $90,000. So if you have any questions.
No, I just want to make the comment that by no means is Mark Richards thinking about leaving, or is this because, of how we're working with Mark? This has nothing to do with that. The assistant, or the project manager that has been vacant for 3 years, I'll be real honest with you. I tried to work with Mark and Joanna and trying to find the right person. I'm probably a unique individual, and I don't think we could find that right person for what we needed to go out and do the inspection on jobs and take care of, and Mark couldn't do it all. I mean, that's why we went and spent the $40-some thousand going elsewhere. So I do see this as a cost savings. It looks like it's an expense, but I do see it as a cost savings at the end of the day.
And the other thing that I did want to mention is with the growth of the city, many of the departments have grown. A lot of them do have, chiefs or deputies or first in command, second in command. In the engineering division of planning and engineering, it is only the city engineer. Even in the planning division, we do have senior planner 2, myself, and then I have the assistants with senior planner 1. And we are at the point that we just need that additional assistance, having ran with a single engineer for as many years as we have.
And this is for introduction only tonight. So if you have come up with any questions before the next meeting, we can field those questions then or field them tonight, whatever you think. So, any questions for Joanna tonight? Thank you, Joanna, for
Thank you.
introduction. Okay, next item, approval of budgetary resolution 23-09, transfer to TIF amended from Board of Works in the amount of $3,515.53 to cover Yandy Street project costs, City Treasurer Jane Rhodes, and I think we can take action on this one tonight.
Correct.
Yep.
This was just, we paid the bill out of the wrong pot, basically. So TIF had the RDC, TIF amended, had already, we used all their money that they had allocated for Yandy Street. And, the $3,515 put them in the negative. So I spoke with Mark, and we needed to pay for it out of Board of Works. So we're just gonna transfer that money.
And for the public's information, we don't bounce checks. It just means from our record keeping, we took it out of this fund.
Paid it out of the wrong
Yeah,
pot.
it just paid out the wrong column, but the money's there. It just needs to be earmarked in a different way.
So we'll get that all balanced.
With that said, I make a motion to approve budgetary resolution 23-09, transferring the TIF amended to the Board of Works in the amount of $3,515.53.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We'll go on to the next one. Request approval of budgetary resolution 23-11, transfer from MVH 200 to MVH 300 in the amount of $5,000. Brett is not here. Jane, can you cover that one, please?
Brett just emailed me the other day and wanted to, move the $5,000 into the 300, knowing that he would probably have some more repairs, services, and so instead of waiting till the end of the year, which is December 15th, he can't move any more money, so he's just being proactive, knowing probably what will come down the pipe.
And
So
thi-
it's not new money,
just moved.
old money that we're just moving from one op to.
Okay, so this one, we can have action on it tonight as well.
Yes, you can.
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll go on to the next item. Approval of ordinance 23-15 regarding the minimum age of the Merit Commission candidate, City Attorney Lingray.
Thank you. I'm here on behalf of Bill Barrett, who presented this from the Merit Commission, from our Police Merit Commission. By way of background, generally, we have a Merit Commission that is established by virtue of our ordinance. The law, whenever it was adopted decades ago, either allowed you to take the state merit commission or to create your own merit commission, but you had to do one or the other. Franklin back then created their own merit commission, and so it's governed by ordinance. Beginning when we were looking at the various ways to attract and maintain talent, one of the things that we talked about, and you're familiar with this, was the lateral hiring process. But we also entertained the idea that we want to get some younger officers in here and keep the younger officers here. And previously, in order to be an officer with the City of Franklin Police Department, you had to attain the age of 21. And at that age, we then send our officers to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, ILEA. And oftentimes, they will be there. Chief, how long are they They're 16 weeks there in the academy, and then when they would come out, then they begin working under the supervision of our chief. PERF, because they do qualify for PERF, had said at one point in time, in order to be brought on and onboarded, they had to be at least 21 years old when they got out. So oftentimes, we literally missed out on any 20-year-old applicants because they couldn't come in until they were 21, and then they'd go to ILEA, and then that would be another 16 weeks, and by the time we onboarded them, it was another 6 months. So we were really missing out on a pool of applicants, because very often these would be individuals that maybe didn't go to a four-year college, but went to different kinds of specialties and trades and that kind of thing. So the Merit Commission, along with, I believe, the support of the chief and the rank and file, said, why don't we open it up to the 20-year-olds? Because if they go into the Law Enforcement Academy, they will turn 21 by the time they come out, and they're eligible, and PERF will accept that. In conjunction with the merit request, I reached out to PERF, and PERF said that's perfectly fine if your local entity says it's okay to have a 20-year-old. Then we will go ahead and onboard them at 20. So Merit Commission passed this to add a 20-year-old would be able to be hired. And now it comes to you for consideration. This is introduction, and then action would be at the second. And PERF said, if that's the case, we can keep having 20-year-olds because they'll be 21 by the time they graduate. So that's a long way around the barn, but that's essentially why we have to do it that way.
And I know you've said it 2 or 3 times. The rule is, yeah, we can get you at 20, and by the time you go to the academy, you turn 21 while you're in the academy, and you come out ready to go at 21.
Correct.
Want to clarify.
And in general, you've seen some of the changes at the Merit Commission. They've also done a lot of things. They've tried to get our candidates ready. So, for instance, we changed some of the physical requirements earlier rather than later. It made no sense to bring people on board and then figure out they couldn't pass the physical requirements. So we're trying to do as many of those things on the front end because it's not cheap to send these folks through these kinds of programs and things. And so you want to make sure that you have a candidate that is fully ready when they come out and they're ready to hit the ground running when they are in the parts of the department. But it takes a while to get them there. Chief, did you have anything to add?
I would just give one example. The latest officer that we hired, how I see this, to speak candidly, is this young man is 20 years old, served in the military. I feel if he can serve in the military, he should go serve in the city of Franklin. He served it with high regard. He's been a good employee everywhere he's at. So for us, we missed some opportunities, as you said previously, and we accepted some candidates that came and went. So the taxpayers in the room, we spent thousands of dollars over the last few years
And it's competitive out there. These young men and women come out and they're ready to go. And if we're telling them we can't take you for another year, we're going to lose them. They're going to go somewhere.
What are the other cities around us doing? I mean, is Greenwood 2021, Whiteland, what are they around, what's it around us?
Everybody was where we are currently at, prior to this move. Everybody's doing the same thing, so what's gonna happen is they're gonna jump on board. I just don't think it's ever been tested. No one's put in the work to, that Lynn and Bill, Bill and these guys on the Merritt Wood lessons, one of them, they've spent countless hours on trying to get this figured out. For us, it was a matter of going to PERF and all those folks that would have to pay into his pension, and then reaching out to the academy to make sure that we could get him in the academy. So we were able to convince them, yes, we think we're gonna be able to get this passed, we just go ahead and accept him into the academy in the January class, because what happened in the COVID era was the academy got backed up. So it's very, very difficult now to even get someone in the academy. The last thing you want to do as an administrator or taxpayer is send somebody for 16 weeks, want to bring them back and wash them out. So really want the best of the best. This is a good way to do it. To answer your question, everybody's doing it the same way. We've been doing one of those deals where like, we've always done it that way.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
So my hope is they don't know that we're doing it at 20, but
We
they're
can be
all.
first on the block to
That's correct. But
change it.
I have absolute confidence, given the research that we've done, that there's nothing that prohibits us from doing this, and PERF is completely on board. If you are on board with a 20-year-old, they're fine. They're fine with that.
What about timing for when they're in the academy? So if they get out of the academy after they've graduated, right, and after the 16 weeks, and they don't turn 21 for 2 more months, how does that work? You can't, okay.
Yeah,
He has to be 21 before.
He gets out of,
He or she.
yeah.
Prior to being released, so we'll have to bring him over and swear him in at some point in time.
Yeah, we'll just have,
He's still in the academy.
it's going to be in a management kind of thing. Yeah, that's what we do. But we saved 16 weeks. And it just seems for whatever reason, and I don't know why it is, but that seems to be the 20-year-old, they're sitting waiting.
Yeah.
And I think we can attract more talent that way. And as Chief said, there's talent out there. They don't want to sit around and wait. They'll go somewhere. And you'll see some of the same things in fire as well. That's why some fire departments have gone with the, what do they call them? Not the volunteer, but the training that's under, they're not full-fledged fire
standby.
department. Yeah, and.
Paid standby.
Yeah, the same things, because especially now with a lot of the schools encouraging people to do different kinds of trade schools and things like that, rather than a 4-year.
Yeah.
It made sense when you were going to a 4-year college, but a lot of these kids don't want to do that. They want to be very specific.
There's
and
a lot
train.
of 2-year, like criminal justice and
Sure.
fire safety in different degrees that are out there that, ultimately, if you graduated 18 or 17,
You're ready at 20.
you're ready to do something.
You're ready at 20,
Yeah.
not 21.
That's actually what happened to Kate Carter, who it is.
Mhm.
That's exactly what happened. He got out of high school and didn't want to go to college, and was presented an opportunity in the military.
Yep.
And all was due exception, so.
Right.
Somebody being handed it for us.
I just want to add one thing, Chief. You said we're at full staff, and I know we haven't been at full staff for many years, and we have 56 police officers total, I believe is what it is. And I just want to thank the council here. One reason we're at full staff is because how we aggressively went after our budget to be able to pay our officers and firemen to be able to just want to stay here and not go around and want to work here. And where we're at, and I know all of you know, but for the crowd, it's $69,000 a year to start out with that 21-year-old. And then you get a $1,000 clothing allowance, so I see that as $70,000 a year. So, and then with our insurance, I think we have a good thing to offer here at Franklin, and the city council recognizes that we had that, and so thank you for the budget that was passed. I
And-
think that's helped.
Mayor, one other thing I wanted to add, you can see the resolution passed by the Merit Commission. Not all Merit members were on it, but it was only because they weren't there. It wasn't that they aren't. The entire commission, I think, Les speak for, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the entire commission was on board with this concept. They just weren't all there at that meeting.
Okay, so this one's introduction only. You have anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. That gets us to other business, and is electric vehicle charger presentation by the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council.
Hello and good evening. I'm Noah Woods, Vice President of the Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, and we are excited to come here tonight to present to you our information we've compiled so far on electric vehicle chargers and our project to install one at the Youngs Creek Amphitheater. So thank you.
As Noah said, we are the Franklin Mayor's Youth Leadership Council, led by Mayor Steve Barnett and Tara Payne, along with our president, Taylor Trueblood, who unfortunately could not be here tonight. Our main goal in the council is to empower student leaders by engaging in service opportunities, and some of our most recent successful projects include the Safe Haven Baby Box, an accessible playground, and our roundabout sculpture.
Hey, and what's your name?
Oh my goodness.
Is that your mother's coat? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So we would like to install an electric vehicle charging station in the amphitheater parking lot, and this desired location has been determined by Duke Energy, Chip Orner, Mark Richardson, and the Mayor, Tara, and an FMLC.
And you are? I know, but see, I'm trying to get you to say your name, so.
I'm Lizzie Warland, and as have been said, we are going to put it in the downtown amphitheater area. We just think that that's where most people are going to go, and that's where people who are coming into Franklin might end up. It will be an AC level 2 charger, which will have one pedestal, but two cars will be able to charge it at one time. It uses the power equivalent of a clothes dryer oven, so it's not too much power. It's the most common charging level that's available in public or shared places. It will cost roughly $130 per month, which will be paid by the customers who use it, and we plan to have it installed by April. I'm Addison Holman. This project encourages environmentally friendly habits, and it also provides community members with charging stations for their e-vehicle. Residents living in apartments also have a safe spot to charge their vehicles. It modernizes our city with this technology, and it appeals to the younger generations.
I'm Taylor McHenry, but Duke Energy Corporation is an American electric power plant that uses natural gas. That's like their company. Duke Energy is working with us to make this idea possible and to install it into our city. Duke will install, own, and maintain the EVCs in a collaboration with the city of Franklin for a low monthly rate.
Good evening, I'm Keegan Turner Quinn, and in conclusion, we are excited for the benefits and impact that will result within our community. And thank you so much for joining us today to hear about this project. And are there any questions that we could possibly answer?
Will it accommodate golf carts?
That would likely depend on which golf cart. I think that's an AVC charger. My time at Hillview, they were like golf chargers, but the actual like electric systems, I don't know if those are compatible. Sorry.
Just curious.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Any other questions?
Softball question, what does it cost the city to install it?
Oh, that's familiar. So Duke Energy will install it on their own because I think they reap most of the financial rewards for this. It's more why we're here is that we need to collaborate with the city, like on installing it, like construction and permit wise. But they will install and continue to own the chargers.
Okay.
We rehearsed that if you didn't know.
I've got one more from Board of Works. Previously, someone had asked me how many electric vehicles are in Franklin. Compiling data from the Indiana Economic Development Commission census and just vehicle ownership statistics, I found that as of 2022, there would have been 62 electric vehicles in Franklin. But between 2016 and 2022, the Indiana Economic Development Commission noted a 1,200% increase in electric vehicle ownership. And that, connected with Franklin's already accelerated growth economically and population-wise, would indicate that we could have hundreds of electric vehicles in the coming decades.
I'm impressed.
That was between 5:30 and 6. All right. Yeah. Wow, good job.
I do have a question, though. Will there be maintenance? Like maintenance, will the maintenance, is Duke Energy going to keep the maintenance up on
Yes,
these, or?
they will
is-
maintain that.
Okay, in the future, yeah. Okay.
And as I said at the Board of Works, there's already been one installed at Fair, is it?
There's two out at.
There's two out
Yeah,
there?
they installed two out
At
there, I
at the
think.
hotels on the east side, so. But we're downtown, and that's out there, and they get a lot of travel off the interstate, and this should be more locally, I would think, so.
If I recall from the meeting, then we'll be added to a map that's basically generated for people who, so it's kind of an economic development tool.
Google
We'll
map.
be added to a map of a location, so hopefully encourage people to get off the interstate and come in downtown.
How many will there be? One,
Just
two?
one
One
to
that can
begin
charge
with.
two
but
cars.
One
two
charger
cars.
that can service 2 cars.
Right.
Gotcha.
There's some kind of a map. Did I didn't make
so.
that
Yeah,
up.
it's like a, like
Yeah.
on the Google Maps, it will pop up if you're looking for a charging station.
How long does it take to fully charge a car?
That is, to fully charge a car, I believe that is several hours, but with electric vehicles, the idea isn't to, it's not like your phone, you don't really want to like kill it and then bring it in. So most of the time when people are charging their cars, it'll be to get, just for like an hour or two, and it gets it up, so they can
Top
like
it
go
off their
home.
gas tank, isn't it?
Yeah. Usually, unless you're like on a road trip, your electric vehicle won't exhaust its entire battery, like in one day.
And it depends on like what kind of charger you get, like there's fast chargers that can fully charge a vehicle in like 20 minutes, but this one will be more like a couple hours.
So they can charge their vehicle and shop around town.
Or go to a concert.
Well, there you go.
As long as there's not a line, I'd about be happy.
I know what I would do. If I needed a parking place, I'd go park and act like I'm charging my vehicle and say, see you guys. I'm just kidding. So anyway,
He's pointing to the police.
I want to thank you guys for coming and giving your presentation. I think you've done a great job, and Noah, appreciate you looking up the question that you was asked. And we don't need any action, I don't think, taken from the city council on this. I don't think. We might in the end. I know the Board of Works is going to need to sign off on the contract. I don't know if the city council, do we have any obligation?
Don't need to, because it's already going to be funded. I mean, it's a net neutral cost to us, other than maybe just a slight cost to run an electric line there, but Duke puts in everything, but they do have a standard terms of agreement, just like we have with our lights and things like that. And then, as I understand it, what they do is they meter it so that whoever user pays for it when they go in there. So Board of Works will have to approve it because they're going to be installed on city property, but I'm sure we could give an informational update to the council, but there is no funding needed from you to do it.
Yeah, the power's actually already there at the amphitheater. We just have to run a line, and we're waiting on a quote from Jerry to run a line from the power
To the station, so it'd be minimal.
And what the plan is, or our goal is for the Mayor's Youth Council to, whatever that cost is to install that, is to be able to raise enough money to be able to pay for that. And I think you guys are pretty close there anyway, so good job, good project.
I think they should sell shirts, they'll earn enough money.
No, you got to be special to get that shirt. You can't sell it. So, any other questions for them? Okay, thank you, guys, I appreciate it.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too. Okay, this gets us down to council comments. Josh,
Just happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Ann,
Same thing. Happy Thanksgiving.
Ken,
Just the same. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Stay safe.
Sean,
Nothing nicer.
Bob,
I'm good.
Irene,
Just happy holiday.
Yep.
Jennifer,
Same thing, thank you.
Madison.
We're really excited to move forward with this project. Yeah.
You
Nothing
got
else.
you got off easy tonight. 'cause
Yeah, I did.
Usually, the person sitting there introduces everybody, so
Yeah.
good job. All right, Tara, do you have anything to add?
I just wanted to tell you guys, I sent it out, to city employees, so it might have gone to your email, your city email address, but, we're having our employee Christmas luncheon on December 15th at 11, and we'd love for you to all attend. It's awesome, it really is. We've gotten so many donations, like, it is my hope this year to have gifts donated for every single city employee that attends, so I feel like we're gonna be really close. So I'm excited. That would be the first year that we've had, because we always give city gifts when people come, but then we also have like businesses donate gifts, so everybody gets a prize.
Where is it, Tara?
Oh, it's at the Legends, sorry, yeah. It's at the Legends and the food is amazing.
Jane? Since that's going to be your last Christmas dinner, do you have anything to say tonight?
It's not her last Christmas dinner. Yeah, you're taking that last
I
Sunday
love it.
before, aren't you?
Last dinner ever.
Okay, you don't have anything to say? Ms. Gray?
Many more Christmas dinners, Jane. Good for you. No, I don't have anything else to
Okay,
add.
and I don't either. I appreciate everybody being here tonight, and we got to make this lively, or why would you come, right? So, and I'm trying to hold Todd up, because I know he wants to get to that basketball game, so let's just talk about some more stuff for a
Right,
little
because
while.
it's Purdue, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, we're ready for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.